Hello and welcome. This is RueshTV and I'm bringing you a Fire 7.0.3 guide for the mages coming up in the new Legion expansion. This is part of the pre-patch changes, and I did have a couple videos on the Fire Mage in the beta, but there are a couple of changes that I figure we can talk about. Alright, so I did mention some of these changes, but I'm just going to reiterate as I go through. Combustion now increases critical strike by 100%, and then also the mastery by the amount equal to your critical strike. So before, when I talked about combustion in the previous videos, I just talked about the 100% crit strike, but I did not even close to mentioning the mastery, which is very important for the Fire Mage. And the mastery also has a change, and it's called Ignite, and the Ignite is like a debuff that is added to the target you're attacking with your fire spells, and it will tick down burning damage on that target. Each of your fire abilities will add to that fire ignite, but it won't change the cooldown for the ignite, so it'll wear off in 9 seconds and then immediately be reapplied. So it doesn't continue the debuff timer, it just resets it once it is done and over with. Also, Ignite will spread automatically to every target within a range every 2 seconds, so you don't need Inferno Blast to do that anymore. But it is a new thing as well. Inferno Blast was changed to Fire Blast, has 2 charges, no longer spreads the dots, it's off of the global cooldown, and it will also help you with your heating up proc. It's an instant crit cast. Alright, so we'll talk about your 2 buffs momentarily. This is a character. We're going to take a look at the specialization tree. Again, I have a dungeon or a multi-purpose talent tree, and then I have a raiding talent tree. The raiding talent tree is what you see on the screen, is what you probably will want to use while leveling up as well. Some of these can be changed for that, but here's basically what I'm going to be rolling with. So for level 15 tier 1, you're going to want Pyromaniac in both trees. Casting Power Blast or Flame Strike while Hot Streaks is active has an 8% chance to instantly reactivate Hot Streaks, which gives you a potential for another Power Blast immediately. Conflagration will apply a conflag to a target, dealing additional 1k fire damage at 8 seconds. So it'll be up to just like a dot left behind on Ignite. So it's actually pretty good when you're doing AoEs. You can just have a bunch of dots rolling on your targets as they spread. Fire Starter, your fireball spells always deal a critical strike when the target is above 85%. It's really good when you're doing opening sequences. However, it's not really that great of a talent compared to Pyromaniac or Conflagration, because you want more burst when it comes to the Fire Mage. Next down on the level 30, tier 2, Shimmer, Cauterize, Cold Snap. Shimmer gives you 2 charges on your blink and it goes 20 yards. Cauterize, when you receive fatal damage, brings you up to 35% and you tick away 28%. You also get your Burst of Speed. They removed Burst of Speed and Cauterize and put them together for just Cauterize, and you don't have to worry about it, it's passively done. Cold Snap gives you 2 charges on your Ice Block and also heals you for 3% of your maximum health. This is purely PvP or leveling, and you no longer have the glyph to get the 3% maximum health damage. Level 45, what you want for leveling or dungeons most likely is going to be Cancer Slow, because you're just going to be moving around a lot in dungeons. So basically, magical energy flows through you, building up 20% increased damage, and then diminishing down to 4 increased damage every 10 seconds. It drops 2 to 3 each time. But for the raiding purposes, you're going to want Rune of Power. You place down the Rune of Power and you stand in it, you gain 50% extra damage while standing in it. So this is basically good to go for you. For level 60, we have Blast Wave, Flame On, and Controlled Burn. Flame On is something that I use in both of my trees. It immediately grants you 2 charges of your Fire Blast, so it kind of replenishes your Fire Blast if you are hitting a lot of heating ups and you blow through your fireballs and you just can't keep up, and you use Flame On to get them back. It actually helps. Control Burn, when you're heating up, you have a 10% chance to instantly activate Outstrikes. This one's actually pretty helpful, but it's only 10%. So I think the Flame On will give you a little bit more of a damage boost potential, because you get that and you have automatic 2 charges to use instead of having to wait for Controlled Burn, which is a possible 10%. Blast Wave causes an explosion around the target, dealing 14k damage, reducing movement speed, all that. It's a really good PvP talent. 75, Ice Ward, Ring of Frost, pure PvP. For the dungeon stuff, you're going to go with Ice Flows. It allows you to move around and cast, and you get 3 charges for that. Being a fire mage, you're actually pretty mobile as it is. Using Ice Flows, using Blink, using Scorch allows you to move around, so mobility is pretty high, and you still want to add to that by using your Ice Flows, and I use that in both specs. The next one is going to be Unstable Magic. Use it in both. 25% chance to explode on impact, dealing 50% damage to all the targets. It's very useful. Living Bomb, back in Wrath, I loved it so much that I couldn't get over not using it. But your targets, become a living bomb, taking 8k damage over 3 seconds, and explode to deal an additional 5k damage to all targets in the area. So the explosion damage and the ticking damage is just not that great in comparison to what Unstable Magic could potentially wield. And then Flame Patch. Flame Strike leaves behind a patch of flames which burns a target. So if you're using like high concentrated AoE pulls, like just trash mobs and all this stuff, Flame Patch is probably going to be helpful, but I'd still go with Unstable Magic. So now we have the 100 Tree. I actually fell in love with Cinderstorm. Throws 6 cinders that travel in an arc, dealing 4k fire damage to all the enemies it hits. Damage is increased by 30% if the target is affected by Ignite. So you always have Ignite running. I think Cinderstorm is decent, but you get more damage output coming from your Kindling, and this is why we chose this for a rating spec. Your Fireball, Fire Blast, Crit Strikes reduce the remaining cooldown on combustion by 1 second. So you have a 2-minute cooldown on this. Every time that you crit with all of your other abilities, it just reduces that cooldown, which means more combustions and a fight. Leveling Meteor, it calls down a meteor that does 40k damage. There's also burning things on the ground. It's actually helpful in smaller situations just to get quick burst damage there. So this is what my talents look like for rating. Let me switch it up for leveling so you can see how that is, or if any changes are done. So it's really just that, not a whole lot of changes there when it comes to leveling versus rating. So I'm going to flip it back so I can show you some of the rotations and cooldowns and stuff. Alright, so before I do that, I'm going to take a look at the character map. Stat priority, intellect. Of course, everything you're going to own is going to be intellect, so you might as well stack it as best you can. Trinkets, if you can get intellect trinkets, that'd be awesome, but generally you want to get your crit strike and your mastery up. I have a mastery problem on this character, so my fire mage isn't going to do as much damage as I want, but I do have 41% crit, which is awesome, and that is my next secondary stat. That's the best I have is crit. After that is mastery, then haste, then versatility. So if I can get a little bit more mastery and a little less haste, get mastery up without losing too much haste, that'll be awesome. I'm gemmed and enchanted and all that stuff for haste, so that's why my haste is higher than my mastery there. But 41% crit, that's really pretty good. Maybe I can learn to do a little better with the fire rotation, all that stuff. So with the opening sequence for fire, it's essentially going to be close to your normal rotation. So you're going to pot, and then you're going to precast a pyro. So whenever the pull timer gets down to like 4 seconds or something, you want to precast it. You make sure you don't want it to go before they pull, but around that time limit when you use it. So once you pyroblast, then you're going to want to fireball until you get heating up. Then you're going to blast once you get heating up. Then you're going to throw down ROP. Then you're going to use combustion. And then you're going to use any of the racials you have. I don't have any racials, I'm not going to worry about it. And then you're going to cycle through pyroblasts and fire blasts to make sure that you are rotating a bunch of pyroblasts in your combustion. And then right as your combustion is about to end, you want to throw Dragon's Breath to get that extra damage buff. So once that's over and you just pick up your single target rotation, the rotation is going to follow a so. It's mainly a priority. Rotation is just a buzzword that I've been using for years, but it's really essentially just a priority. So if your ROP is up and combustion is up, then you're going to use Rune of Power, then combustion immediately. If you don't have combustion available and you have 2 charges of Rune of Power, go ahead and use Rune of Power. Pyroblast, if and only if you have hot streaks. Meteor, if you're talented. Dragon's Breath, if combustion is about to expire, or if you are out of Fire Blast procs and you have a heating up. Fire Blast only on heating up, and Fireball to try to get heating up, and then Scorch if you need to move for whatever reason. So it's really just cast fireballs until something happens. You're heating up, Inferno Blast. If you are, if you're hot streaks, then you Pyroblast. If you're 2 charges on the Rune of Power, but your combustion is down, go ahead and use it. Your combustion's back up, Rune of Power's back up, use those both, all those different things. And then you're going to want to flame on just whenever you need to get your Fire Blast back. Alright, so I'm going to try to do this. I haven't done a fire rotation video since I had the artifact weapon in the previous, when I did the beta stuff. So doing the whole rotation without the Phoenix Flame is kind of rough for me. I don't know if I'll be able to get the opening sequence right away, but the idea is there that you just want to pop your combustion and then you want to get all your Pyroblast and Fire Blast rotations going, just to maximize the damage within the combustion. So I'm just going to start with there. So I'm going to pre-pot because I don't have any pots. I don't really care too much to do that. So I'm just going to throw a Pyroblast out there, and I'm going to Fireball until I get it heating up. So Fireball until I get it heating up. There it is. I'm going to do it there. I messed up the start rotation. Alright, there we go. I got that. Rune of Power, Combustion, Pyroblast, Fireball, Pyroblast. See right there, I messed it up. I didn't have it, so I'm just going to use that. And I'm out of combustion, so it's not terrible. I'm just going to use it whenever it's available. See, I messed up the opening sequence because I, used Pyroblast too soon. So that's basically how it's done. So it's really simple. And when you get your artifact weapon, it actually makes the combustion phase a lot easier. So I already have like a few 40 seconds left on there again. Lagging or something. Messed that up. 30 seconds left on combustion, so we'll see how that goes again. There we go. I got one of the Pyro Maniacs working for me. So one good thing to note, Fire Blast is off the global cooldown, so I can use it while I'm casting. So it's not a problem. I just, for some reason, it messes up my chain casting. So combustion is ready. I'm going to drop this, use that, go, 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 and then there you go. That was a decent combustion. Sitting at probably 63, 64k. Just just playing around with this. I also have a crappy dummy in the back that's really just soaking it up right now, so it could be a part of why the damage is up there. So that's Pyro. Blast is crazy good. I'm just a fan of fire. I'm looking forward to it. People are saying it's going to be the go-to spec for fire, so we'll see how it goes. If you have any comments, what to do, why I'm not doing so well, or if you just think it's awesome, please let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching. This is RueshTV.